Welcome to this edition of Comets Weekly. I'm Andrew Olson, joined with head baseball coach Kenny Kerner, and today we're going to interview first-year wrestling coach, head coach Brian Bahrs. So, Brian, welcome to Comets Weekly, your first appearance.
Yeah, I feel like a celebrity. It's great.
Well, you already were a celebrity, three-time state wrestling champion, state champion football player, and recent inductee to the Newman Hall of Fame. So, Newman's glad to have you. What made you want to take the reins of the wrestling program?
Well, I mean, kind of like all the things you just said, like this school and, everything that sports and just the academics has brought me through my life, it's really been a pivotal part of making me who I am today. So it's one of those things I want to give back to what gave me so much in life. So what better than the wrestling program, right? So it's really a pleasure, and I'm honored to be the coach. So
Tell us about your staff. Who do you have on the staff helping you this year?
yeah, so I always like to brag. Like, I honestly believe I have the best coaching staff in Illinois right now. I got Brody Ivy. He's a prior state champ, Newman. He's a pivotal part of our program. He helps out in all facets in that room. He's got a great relationship with the kids. I couldn't have asked for a better assistant. He's always there. He's always, put in the extra work to help us out. I got RJ Troy. He's also a prior state champ, one of my best friends. We grew up all through the program together. So, I got a lot of, respect for RJ. He's kind of that guy. He brings a lot of intensity in the room, and that's something we need at times. I got Paul Magnifici. It's just a crazy dynamic because each coach kind of has their own niche of what they're good at and what they, bring to the table. And Paul's that guy, like emotionally, he has this connection with the kids. So, wrestling's a grind when we're, pounding the kids, trying to tell them, hey, we got to do this better, we got to do that better. It's really intense. Paul knows how to relate to the kids, keep their, attitudes up, keep their confidence up. And, that's something really important, to have, especially in wrestling. And then last but not least, we got, the legend Brock Roode, and, he brings a lot, and he's had a lot of success in this program. And
Does he still have it?
well, he came back, and I think he'd admit to you he's a little rusty coming back, and we gave him a hard time, but no, he's came in and he's helped out a lot, and he knows how to find like the small details to what we're doing and what can make us better, and we love having him back in the room. So it really is. We have a good core coaching staff and an even better great group of kids. So, this year's it's so far it's been a fun year, and it's going to continue to do that. So,
why don't you talk about some of your kids, maybe talk about some of your leaders this year, and also maybe some of the kids that maybe go unsung that are really hard workers and are improving each day in practice and pushing some of the other kids.
yeah, so I'll start off. The kids, we just voted captains last week. We got Carter Roode and Brady Grennan. Them two are, experienced veterans, on our team, and they both bring a lot to the table. And I've honestly been very impressed with the way that they've stepped up. They've been great leaders to these kids, especially our dynamic this year as a team is we either got a lot of experience or we got a lot of like new kids, right? They're fresh to the sport of wrestling. So the way these kids are just helping them, they're talking them through after matches, they're rooting them on during matches, they're pulling them aside, telling them, hey, let's do this better, that better. Them are things you look for in captains, and so far, they've been great. So as far as kids that I think have improved tremendously, one that, really comes to mind, it's really the young guys that never wrestled before. It's, your Parker Strowmans, your Matthew Murrays. These guys are young guys. They came in day one, and it was just like, okay, we got a lot of work to do, we've taken some beatings right in the beginning of the season, but then you see them have a lot of success. They go upstairs and they're pinning guys and they're getting team points for varsity, and them are the kids that you need to help bring this together as a team. It's not always the veterans that know it all, and they're going to get you those team points. It's the ones that are like, man, these kids, they're going to be a good asset for us, and they've came so far in a span of 3 weeks. So it's just exciting to kind of see what's a whole season going to look like with kids like that? You know,
Do we have every weight class filled?
we do not have every weight class filled.
And do you want to say which ones, or we got?
Yeah. So currently, right now, we're waiting. We got 113's not filled yet. We got 126 not filled yet. But other than that, every other weight class is filled for us.
All right, and just fast as you can, name off every weight class.
Okay.
Take a breath and let's.
The weight classes change every couple years.
I
So
know. I know them
getting
from
confusing.
2003. So.
But you got 106, you got 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, 144, that's a new one, 150, 157, 165, 175, 190, 215, and 285.
Nice.
Those
Okay.
are the weight
That's
classes.
good.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah,
not 103, 112, 118.
Beginning of the season, it was like, wait a second, what weight is? Yeah, we couldn't figure it out, you know. But
It's good to know.
So I'm watching a wrestling match. I think it was from this weekend at Sterling. Brady Brennan does some spider monkey flip move. Can you talk about that? What is that move? Is that something newer to the sport?
no,
Are you coaching that move?
well, you know what? We don't coach it, but I will say they are moves, you know. And the best way to explain a Brady Brennan would be he's an electric wrestler. He's that kid. He hits big moves. And most coaches would be like, oh man, like, yeah, we don't want kids doing that. Well, I'll tell you what, you can't be upset with a kid when he hits those moves and he hits them really well, right? And he gets them and he scores points. And so, and that's just part of his style, you know? And that's one thing I think as coaches, you know, we had to adjust to, because when he came in as a freshman and we see him hitting these big moves, we're like, no. But then we realized, oh no, like, this is great. Like we're actually, you know, being productive with it. And I think he does a really good job of there's a time to hit it, right?
Yeah.
And he knows when that is. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun to watch,
It was
right?
cool.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It kind of puts you on the edge of your seat, but you know, he does a really good job. And honestly, it's part of Brady's style. And I think that's kind of what makes him the wrestler that he is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got two left. You got any?
Just one?
Okay.
You want to back and forth it?
Yeah.
All right.
Mount Rushmore Newman wrestlers. So I know you haven't been around the program for as long as some people, but top 4 wrestlers in Newman history.
Top 4 wrestlers in human history.
I mean, you got 2 brothers.
Yeah.
You're not naming both of them, probably.
Well, I got three brothers. I got an older one too that graduated. But no, the thing is obviously that they are a pivotal part of why I became what I was, and I'm not going to deny that. You know, and watching, you know, my oldest brother Tony win a state title, of course, that was a big motivational, you know, part of my life of like, I want to be that someday, you know. But actually, it's kind of weird. Became from AFC and. AFC back in probably 04 era, they were pretty solid. And Newman had a great program. And the 2 programs actually got along really well. And Dave Gleisner was one. He wrestled Clayton Orbert quite a bit.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it's funny because I was on the other side. But I looked at Clayton and I'm like, wow, that guy's awesome. You know, I want to be like that guy. I think Clayton was, you know, he was a phenomenal wrestler and one of the best that, you know, Newman ever had. So if I were to say, you know, one right now, it'd be Clayton Norbert. And then, you know, for me, Josh Kirkland, he was a big role model, you know, growing up. Ryan Gilbert, he actually helped me a lot, you know, when I was in middle school, you know, like he'd come down to the kids practice and he'd help me out quite a bit. So a lot of respect there. But other than that, I obviously wasn't here, but I've had the pleasure of meeting guys like, you know, Mike Mena. We've had him out for a couple camps, and obviously, you know,
he's like
ultimate legend,
emeritus.
right? Yeah, and you know, every time we have him out for a camp, you know, he's great to have, and he's great to be around, and he brings a lot of knowledge to the sport, and you know, it's just one of those things. Like I think he's always going to be a legend for everybody. So, but yeah. If those were the ones, I'd say probably those guys.
All right, good answers.
Yeah.
Favorite college or pro sports team?
Pro sports team, college. I'd say Iowa Hawkeye. You know, wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of something I think, here at Newman, we kind of preach something similar, like just that gritty, get after it mentality. And yeah, so I'd say for sure, Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah.
Okay, last one. We'll make it a quick one. Who's your favorite substitute teacher from 8th grade?
Andrew Olson.
One answer. Okay. All right, that'll do it with Coach Brian Bahrs on this edition of Comments Weekly.